I got to thank my friend Jim over at Humberview Volkswagen for letting me borrow the Arteon today. What a lovely car. I'm just getting on the highway now, enjoying this lovely gauge cluster in front of me, showing me some great info, and looking fantastic. This car looks fantastic, and I think I have to make a series of videos of cars that I think people are ignoring at the moment or not really noticing, and this is one of them. This is definitely one of them. This is called the Volkswagen Arteon, and the version that I have right now, well, it's got exec line and R line. What does that mean? Well, it's got the peanut butter and it's got the jam. This thing has just about everything you want, except the price of, it's probably, I would say, one of its closer competitors, which is a car that is kind of made from the same manufacturer. So anyway, we won't get into that. Bang for the buck is definitely what this vehicle is all about. And one of the things that I love about the Arteon is how different it is from every other Volkswagen out there. Right now, if you look at Volkswagen, most people, or some people know, you start off with a Golf, and you can get a Jetta, and then a Passat. But then what comes after Passat? Is there an after Passat? Is this after Passat? I don't know. If you want to look at it that way, I guess you could. You might want a Passat for other reasons. This particular car is much tighter than a Passat, but it's much... it's much prettier. It's just a pretty Volkswagen. I'm not saying the Passat isn't a good-looking car. It's a handsome car. But this one's got style. You look at it, and it's got this beautiful wedge shape. And that roof line, thanks to the sashless doors, the sashless windows on the doors, rather, they don't have that metal surround. So what you just have is glass, and that glass partition, and it kind of ends there. But what that does is it makes the roof line really, really, really slick. And this is definitely one of those cars that is much slicker looking than you would expect. And I think a lot of people look at this car and go, well, wait, what is that? Until they see the big VW logo on the front of the front and the back. But from the side, I guarantee most people wouldn't spot what this car is. Certainly not the manufacturer. And that's what I love about the Arteon. That's its superpower. The Arteon superpower is, it is the most stylish, newest looking, probably sexiest Volkswagen there is at the moment. Yeah, for sure. This is definitely one of those cars that gets overlooked, and I think it's about time more people start looking at this particular car. And how can you not look at it? On the interior, you're going to find everything that you'd expect. Well, I'd say probably in a high-end Audi. That's what you're going to expect. I certainly see it here on the gauge clusters in front of me, which is just gorgeous. It's all digital, and you literally have to look twice to notice that it is in fact digital. And of course, you can carry over your screens with your navigation and all kinds of stuff. I mean, the list goes on with all the things you can get on the Arteon. Definitely worth checking out. Speaking of which, I have to thank my friend Jim over at Humberview Volkswagen for letting me borrow the Arteon today. It's been a blast, and I really, really like this car. This is definitely a car for me. I love styling, as I've probably mentioned a few times on this show, and I really love engineering too, but when you kind of put the two together, and Volkswagen, whoever was supposed to be doing, or whoever was working on this car, given the Arteon as a project, wow, they must have had a lot of fun, because if there's one thing I can't help but notice, well, you just look at it, and you look at this is definitely something different, and definitely something worth checking out. I'm about 6'2", and sitting in a car sometimes can be a problem because I can't get the seat and the steering wheel far back, but also I can't tilt the seat and support my lower leg. And even in a car as low and slick looking as this Arteon, I feel like I'm up in the air, almost like I'm in a Golf. But I'm not. I'm not in that upright a vehicle. This vehicle is very low slung. It's very low to the ground. But as you sit and you drive it, it's just got the perfect positioning of everything. Right now, as I look ahead of me to the car in front, just above my steering wheel is the top crest of the dashboard, and then there's road. I feel like there's no front end to this car. It's like, I feel like I'm driving a kind of a snub-nosed truck. It's really unbelievable how little of the front nose I can see, but it's got a beautiful face and a beautiful, what seems to be long face in my recollection of looking at the car from the side, because it's got such a nice side profile. And what a ride. I've been going over some bumps now on some we'll say back roads, I guess you can call them, just sort of 2-lane inner city streets. And of course there's lots of potholes and manhole covers that have kind of come up and down, and God, it's like a tomb in here. It's so quiet. And I have the air system on because it's a really warm day today. Not only are the seats in this vehicle ventilated, but they also have a massage setting, which is great as well. But I mean, the car seat is so comfortable, I don't necessarily need the massage at the moment. But speaking of massage, long trips, this would be a great trip car. I have to say, once again though, the seating position. Volkswagen did an awesome job on the seating position in this car. The seating and just the overall view of the interior and the dashboard, which is a really, really good looking dashboard. I mean, I'm not one for straight lines, but boy, when Volkswagen did the straight lines on this dash, they really kept a theme going right along, and I love how the ventilation marries up with the chrome accent lines that go across the dash from left to right, and the way they sort of come together with the sound system up here. It just looks so great. I mean, really, it looks fantastic in here. Interior. I've sold cars for many years. I've been in the car business a long time. I've had enough of black interiors. It's just one of those things. I think if you ask most salespeople, black, white, black, silver, black, they've all mostly had enough of them because that's all we ever seem to sell. And you might remember my friend Joe, who took us through the Arteon the first time. So this is no surprise to me. I'm really kind of more focused on the ride this time and not necessarily his sales pitch. However, if you want a sales pitch on this car, you should talk to somebody at Humberview Volkswagen, and Joe is definitely one of those guys, or any of the team. They all know their stuff and be more than happy to show you a VW Arteon, which I would definitely say it's worth a look. Definitely have a look at this vehicle. I think you will be generally very impressed.
Don't need nothing but execution and time. Buddha don't need nothing but a beat in a rhyme. God protect my soul, mama need to know that I'm fine. Who providing the